And we go live on Facebook. Just 1 minute, Michael.
And I'm going live on Portsmouth Coffee Talk. So.
Okay.
All right, I'll go ahead and start.
Let me go live first. Public.
Okay.
Public. Public. Go live. So, Michael, we are live streaming as well as on the radio station, and this will also appear on YouTube Live later today.
Oh, okay. YouTube Live.
Okay.
Recorded version. Okay, good morning, everyone. Every day we rise. It's a great day to be alive, and welcome to the Seven Cities Forums of Hampton Roads presents Portsmouth Coffee Talk with our host, Leah Drake-Stitt, Thomas Chapman. Good morning, host.
Good morning, James. How are you?
Morning.
Hope everybody's well this morning. Looks like you're doing well, Leah. So
feel a lot better.
Yeah, that's great to hear. And we'll get started. We're having some technical difficulties with our radio station, but we are Facebook Live. We are Portsmouth Coffee Talk Live, and you can go to Leah's live page to watch this interview today. And we have a special guest with us, Portsmouth native, Michael Fletcher. And good morning, Michael. How are you?
Good day. Good day.
Good day. I know you're feeling better too after getting over an illness. So we're so glad that you got up early. You're on the West Coast. You got up early, plus you feeling a little under the weather. So thank you. We appreciate your dedication to this Portsmouth program this morning. Appreciate that.
Of course. Portsmouth.
Yeah. So we're gonna, Leah, if you'd like to get started with our special guest this morning.
It is indeed my pleasure to introduce to some Michael Fletcher. Michael is a graduate of IC Norcom High School. Michael is a student who took the words of Mr. Norcom to heart, where he stated that true education of boys and girls is to teach them what they ought to know, so that when they become adults, that they would not just be mere individuals. Michael, as a student at Norcom, I do remember driving Michael around and Michael showing me his shoe designs. And when we're getting ready to celebrate the 100th anniversary of IC Norcom High School, I asked Michael to design our 100th year pin, which he did. We saw all these great things taking place with Michael while he was a student at Norcom High School. And so, you know, it just overwhelmed my heart to see Michael and where he has taken himself to after his graduation from Norcom High School. Michael, good morning to you.
Thank you for the introduction. I appreciate that.
Yeah, he's quite an artist. Just to think, he went here from designing pins and sneakers and clothing to not only designing those things for himself and for others. He's done it for Sean P. Diddy Combe and Nike, and he's also done it for was Master P, as well as a host of other people. Rocky Jaden Smith, Ashley Graham, Warner Brothers, Dallas Mavericks, and so many more. So Michael, I'm just so thankful. I know you've done a lot of shows here in the Hampton Roads area. Since you moved to the West Coast, talk to us a little bit about how your trajectory from Norcom High School to being where you are on today.
Okay. Man, Norcom, that was probably one of the best times to really discover just what I wanted to do. I remember telling you, like, I want to design sneakers, and then you introduced me to well, I forgot his name.
Yeah.
I forgot his name, but I used to design shoes like every day after you introduced me to him. I think he worked at Converse, I think.
He worked at Nike, the young man
he worked at Nike?
who did for basketball stars.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yep. So I remember just designing shoes like every day, and then staying after school with Mr. Bullock teaching me screen print, and then Miss Wynack teach me graphic design, and the senior class hoodies. And I feel like at Norcom, I got to do a lot of the stuff at like at the smaller scale, at the base, just to learn. And then when I graduated and I went to Virginia State, I think that's when like I started honing in on my skills with the professors that was there. And I wasn't there that long. I was only there for 2 years before I went to ODU, and that's when it really opened it up, because ODU had the resources to for us to travel to the conventions, where I was able to meet a lot of the people in the entertainment industry, and they had a lot of access to different things. And then working in sports was probably uh, one of the best situations, because it gave me a one-way ticket to California when it was time to graduate and go work at USC, and that brought me to LA, where I was able to work my way into the entertainment industry, to be able to work with a lot of the different people that you mentioned earlier. So it was a journey from there to now, and just to see like how I got to do literally this everything that I was doing then, but on the professional level. So
And the University of Southern California, you were the junior graphic designer of sports marketing, and
yep.
you stayed there for a while. But then you took a chance. You had a
Oh
lucrative job, and
right.
someone made you an offer, and you jumped out on that offer. Tell us about that.
Oh yeah. I love USC, and they did a lot for me. And they moved me to LA. They literally moved everything I had to LA. They moved me to LA. They gave me money. Like they did everything. And I can't thank them enough. And when it was time for me to, I just felt like I was at a glass, it's like a glass ceiling, right? It's like you can see the potential, but I knew I couldn't do what I wanted to do, because it wasn't much, I didn't have much room. And Jennifer, who hired me, she's like the same age as me. She was a little older, but I knew she wasn't leaving anytime soon. So they told me, like, hey, we could give you more money to stay, but you're not really going to be able to be in her position, for like the next 5 years. And I was like, oh, I can't be in this position for 5 more years. Like, I don't know. But Len Swan, he was super nice. Every day we would talk. I would go in his office, and he would just we would just talk about life. And on the day, I remember when I was leaving, he offered me a job at Nike. And everybody knows that it was my dream job to go work at Nike, but I couldn't accept the offer, because I didn't know. I was already going to Portland for this TV show, and I didn't know what the show was about, so I couldn't accept the offer. But I just knew I had to take that chance and just see what could happen. And I'm glad I did, because it really opened up a lot of different doors to be able to work with a lot of different people after that. So it was definitely a life-changing decision for me. Another one.
And how did you meet up with Sean Puffy Combs?
uh, through, man, my last year at ODU, a friend of mine, Chris, he texted me randomly and was like, "Hey, you wanna make a jacket for Puff?" And I was like, I didn't know if he was lying or if he was, you know, I didn't know what was going on. He was just like, "Yeah." He was like, "Why not? You one of the best people I know that could do it." And I think I didn't even text him back, because I thought he was lying, so I didn't text him back for like a week. And he had texted me again. It was like, "Hey man, what you what's going on? Like, I think you should you should consider this opportunity." And I went to the drawing board, and I did a couple drafts for the jacket, and I sent them over. And then Puffy ended up picking one. And I remember one night they had called me, but I was asleep, and I kind of messed my sleep pattern up for like a year or two. They had tried to call me, and I was sleeping. And I woke up and he was like, yeah, man, I was trying to talk to you. He was he wanted to talk to you about the jacket. And I was like, man, how can I fell asleep? Like, what? And later on in life, after he wore the jacket, he wore the jacket on tour, and then he wore it on stage. He did like a commercial, like a bunch of different promo with it. And then when I got to LA, I got to go backstage at the concert, and I got to go to his house and hang out with him and stuff. So that was cool. Just a full circle moment from, when I got that text message to, a year later. I was there, like at his house. I hung out with Mary J. Blige. that was interesting. And it was cool, man. Just to like see one of the fashion entrepreneur moguls and just be in the same space. Man, that was just once in a lifetime opportunity. And that night at the concert, I met ASAP Rocky, the artist, and a year later, I ended up working with him. So meeting Puff, it opened up a lot of doors for like me to work with other people. So that was definitely man, it was a lot of full circle moments in that one moment.
And you've done a lot of work with the sports industry as well.
Oh, yep. Sports is oddly enough is a big part of my life.
Uh-huh.
Just even at USC, another full circle moment was I didn't know who Juju Smith-Schuster was because I didn't really follow USC that much. And when I got there, I knew about the school and they're winning championships and how good the Pac-12 was, but I didn't really follow USC until I got to the school. And that's when I met Juju, who was he was on the football team. My very first assignment was to make a Chevron graphic for him. It was like a stats graphic. It just had his yards received, how many catches he got that season. It was just like a bunch of information on it. That was the first thing that I got. And then it was crazy because when he was going to the NFL that year, I believe, he ended up getting drafted to the Steelers. And then 3 years later, 3 years later, I work with him now and do all his merchandise, his cereal boxes, all of his any kind of creative stuff, merchandise wise. I work with him and Keith and his mom on building out products and different things for him. So that was another full circle moment that happened.
So,
wow, Michael, that's an amazing story. And I'm the kind of walk you back in the past guy on this show. And I want to take you back. You said Norcom was the beginning of getting into graphic art and fashion and things like that. Mm-hmm. But before you got to Norcom, and I know you had some hopes and dreams, before you got to Norcom as a young kid. We'll talk about why I wanted to take you there later on in the show. But what kind of influences were in your neighborhood or what you saw on TV that sort of geared you towards fashion and design? And luckily, when you got to Norcom, they had that program there for you to sort of expand your talents. So in the neighborhoods coming up before Norcom, what got you interested in that?
Oh yeah. I was big on watching movies. I was big on like watching music videos. So I would see like my favorite artists on TV, and they would have on the nice clothes and stuff. And at the time, we couldn't really afford like the name brand stuff. So I started like customizing my own clothes. I started painting on my own clothes, just customizing, painting different cartoon characters. And Tim Smith, who was my mentor at Norcom, who teach me screen printing, he used to be one of the like premier people in the neighborhood who would just paint on shoes. Everybody would be like, "Man, you got to get a Tim Smith custom shoe." And I just looked up to Tim as like he was like one of the best to do it. And I would just focus on, and focus my energy just on customizing clothes. And my mom would just say like, you just keep painting, just keep painting on stuff. And I would just paint on everything, like anything I had. And uh, when I saw Tim's work, it just made me want to just do more stuff. And he also I think Tim was doing clothes too. Yeah, Tim was doing clothes too. And Tim was like a big inspiration, like in the beginning. And my older brother, because my older brother could draw too. He could draw really well, and he had went to Norfolk State, and I used to ask him like, man, I want to be like you, So I would draw and stuff, and try to emulate him. So it really started like in the family, in the household, watching TV, movies, inspired by friends and other people. That's where it really started for me.
And I really think a lot of us remember going to school with people that we sat beside at the desk that could really draw, and we always were amazed, but they were never encouraged, to pursue the talent that they had. And good thing you had someone in your community. And I think that's one of the things that's missing now, exposing our young kids to other things that they can do. We miss out on some talents that are in our neighborhoods, and you surely are one of those ones that were able to expand on your dreams and then perfect your talent. So we really appreciate that. So hopefully later on we'll talk about your feelings of how you feel we might be able to go back to that in our neighborhoods and sort of work on our youth today to keep them from going down the wrong path. But anyway, we'll talk about that later. I want to give the Colonel a chance to step in here and ask some questions.
Yeah, that's a perfect segue, because I was going to ask, what would be your advice for somebody coming through in high school, or they've graduated high school and they have that entrepreneurial spirit? Because you see a lot of kids out here that are selling T-shirts or whatever. They've done some things on the side of the road. What would you say to them to give them some heads up to how to break through?
Yeah, so I do take on interns from the area. I don't it's not like something where I'm like, man, I'm putting all these kids on and stuff, but I do take on interns. I know an intern of mine, Lavers Rice, he used to go to I forget what high school he went to, but I take a lot of the young artists from the area under my wing, and I just try to teach them just about creating a vision for yourself, and then asking them, what do you want to do, what's your talent, and how do you see yourself meshing in with the industry, and really trying to hone in on their skills, because I know he was into fashion, and he was trying to break into the industry. He wanted to work with celebrities and stuff, and I told him, you would have to leave, but before that, at least try to work in some capacity, like in the industry, in the area, figure out what you can do in the area. And the RP55 in Virginia Beach was a very important place for me, because I would go there in the morning, or I would go to ODU in the morning for sports marketing. And then in the afternoon, I would go to RP55, drive to Virginia Beach. And I would go there, and they would show me, I would learn a lot about the industry and tons of photo shoots, how to do, how to package boxes, shipping. I would just learn the basics of the industry. And I always try to point kids, if they can, in the direction of RP55, because I know you would learn a lot of different layers and different aspects. And if they can, get them to the trade shows and introduce them to just all the different avenues that people may not know about in the area. And I'm a big believer in not listening to people who aren't in the arena that you're in, because in the beginning, when I was first starting out, I remember telling Miss Stiff, just like how every time I would try to tell somebody what I was trying to do, they would be like, well, how you gonna do that? You can't do that. Nobody from here does that. You need to go do this. You need to take this class and that. And I'm like, well, how are you supposed to be successful if you can't do something like that? That doesn't make sense. Like, nobody knows, no one has any connections, any information about this whatsoever. And I used to tick me off, man, because I would be like, man, why is it that no one has information? Like, how is anybody supposed to do anything different if no one has any information? So I always try to get as much information as I can to give back to different people. A lot of my younger, the younger interns that I work with, they work at Vice, they work at Adidas now, they work at Nike, they work at all these different places. And they always credit me, but I always credit them for just believing in themselves and just going out to try to do that stuff. And the best thing about it is now we're all connected, that we have our own industry connections. And if anybody wants to get advice or stuff, I can point them in the right direction of these young people who have elevated themselves up and now have these prominent positions. One of my young intern, her name is Jacana. She works with Beyonce, and now she's in New York. She's working at Vice, and I remember when she was just starting out, and I was just helping her out with just information and telling her, did you do this and that, and now she's killing it. So I'm really big on getting information and giving the young kids the right information and leading them in the right direction, because I'm not about to tell anybody that they can't do something because I don't know, or
You know what? You hit the key word there was information, because information is power. And a lot of times, those people that are saying, well, you can't do this, or I'm not going to do that, they may have that information, but they keep that power to themselves because they don't want to get a one-upsman. So they don't want to get that person that they should be helping a break. And they think that if I share this information, it'll get them higher than me, and then I'll be, taken down a pole or two. And so I think as you went through your journey, you gathered information and you learned the basics of the business, and through your learning from talking to others, and also in your academic settings, which would set you up for what you're doing now. So that's a great lessons for young folks coming up.
And
Oh yeah.
Michael, and one thing in our talking back and forth here recently, the thing that I appreciate more about you is not so much what you have achieved, but the fact is that you want to come back to Portsmouth to give back to those students who are here now. Talk about the dreams that you have, and how you talk to me about how the students are using Facebook and Snapchat, and they're using Instagram, but yet they're not using the medium to their advantage. They're using it for entertainment only. Talk to us more about how they can use these mediums for to their advantage.
Oh man. So it's a lot of, you got the internet, right? Like way back when when I didn't have a phone and internet, it was just word of mouth, right? It was just like, hey, you know this person, they know this person, and that's how your stuff got out there. And now you got the internet, which I use heavily to connect with different people in different industries. I think one thing that I used to do way back when, I used to get on LinkedIn and I would draft up a template direct message. And I would just go to everybody who worked in Nike, Disney, any company that I liked, or movies that I used to watch. I used to wait to the end of the movie, and I used to look at the credits of the designers, and I would write them down, and then I would go on LinkedIn, and I would just send everybody DMs. I would send directors, movie directors, anybody, any person that I had even remote interest in, I would send them a message. And a lot of times a lot of those people actually messaged me back. And even if it wasn't to work, they would give me a lot of good advice about breaking into the industry. And I think a lot of people, I always ask kids, yeah, you use LinkedIn? And they're like, I don't know how to use it. And that's an important platform because that's where all the professionals are. You don't have to, I tell the kids all the time, like, you don't have to try to go after the celebrities all the time. Like in the beginning, I was talking to people who was working at the companies I wanted to work at, just so I could see how to get a position in and what they were looking for. And that helped shape me, just my approach to art in general, because I'm an artist, but at the same time, I think like marketer. I always been fascinated with marketing. And when you look at social media, you're able to put out, you put yourself out there and present yourself in a certain way, because when people come to your page, it's like introduction. So I'm always telling people, okay, be careful what you posting on social. If you got a story to tell, if you have a certain kind of interest, you should build it around or make it look like this. Or my favorite thing is the copycat technique, is when I used to look at some of the designers who used to be in New York, and they have cool looking pages and aesthetics and stuff. And I would just try to copy that in my own way, try to make my page look similar to their page, but in my own type of style. And I try to tell people like, hey, you can do that. And I think one day I met this guy randomly on Instagram. This guy, Nate Hasefeld, he had won Shark Tank a while ago, 2000, maybe 14, something like that. He got a deal from Damon John from Fubu. And I don't know how he found me, but he found my Instagram page. And me and him ended up becoming close friends. Uh, I remember his assistant was like, yo, you only got you only have 5 minutes to talk to him or whatever. And then me and him ended up being on the phone for like 45 minutes. Because I was like, he ain't met nobody like me yet, so we gonna be on the phone talk for a while. so he used to tell me like, hey, don't post this on social, like don't do this or don't do that. And he used to help me like curate how my social media looked. And I always try to tell people that, like, when you're a brand yourself, you're a product yourself. I like to look at myself as like a business. When people come to my page on Instagram, they see all the stuff people I work with, they don't have to ask much questions or question when they come there, they know what they're looking for. And usually companies or people, they hire me right on the spot. They don't even have to, I don't got to go through no processes, none of that. It all happens right there in the direct message. So I always tell people, you got to just curate how you want people to see you. And
Yes.
if you just using Instagram just regular, like a regular person, then you don't have to do that. You don't have to stress yourself out. But if you have a brand or you're a business or you have some kind of interest, whether it be cooking or building or whatever, just copy the people who are already successful and you'll be fine, because it's all the same. Like Instagram and all of those things are the robots at the end of the day. It's technology. It's an algorithm. It picks up on similar things. So you don't really have to do that much, but make your page look like what's already there, and Instagram will do the rest for you.
Right.
And Michael, they're all good points, and you just have to don't be one dimensional, and building that and everything like that. But it's also, if you are serious about what you want to do, you have to be aware of what you're doing early on this social media, because we see now today how past things are taking people down. The guy on Jeopardy just got taken down by something said on social media years ago. So you have to be aware and think about, because we were talking about on one of our shows about the guys coming on there showing their money and their guns and things like that. Suppose that particular guy decides he wants to go the right way, but he has that in the cloud somewhere. He has those images of him, doing the wrong thing. So you have to, sort of make sure that you know what you're doing, or if you're serious and you want a future, you have to be careful what you do now, because it will follow you for the rest of your life. But I like to think about you building that brand and not being one-dimensional. You were in marketing, merchandising, and took all that in school and took in what people were telling you. So you can control your own brand. We've seen where companies have come in and taken over a young artist in whatever field, and so I tried to mold them into what they thought they should be. And when you have the knowledge to be able to build your own brand, because nobody knows you better than you. So it's important to go there. And I like the fact too that Leah said that you want to come back, and we were talking about that earlier. We have so many students, Malcolm, Wilson, Manor, and Churston going off to do some things, and And we're sitting here trying to figure out what can we do for the youth. And we have these people that have gone on to meet success. And all we have to do is a phone call away, and people like yourself are willing to come back and give our youth that hope that you're showing here today. Didn't mean to go off on that long commentary, but just
No, it's okay.
But James, it falls right in line with what Michael and I've been talking about. Michael, tell them about the thoughts of yours about the school.
Oh yeah, yeah. I think a important thing that because so many kids, they DM me like just students from everywhere. Like sometimes they go on YouTube and they watch my show, and from that I did years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, and they say, man, I watched you on the show Lace Up, and you made me want to go to college and design sneakers. Or it's people that graduated and they go work at companies, and they like, man, because of you, I want to do this. Or hey, I'm from Portsmouth, or I'm from this place, or I'm from Alaska, I'm from Australia, I'm from wherever, and they're like, I want to get to where you at one day. I want to do this. And then a lot of kids from Portsmouth have been contacting me lately. I just talked to a young man. He's an artist. I never met him before, but we work together now. He helps me out with some projects, and one day I was back home, and I was talking to Mr. Bullock, and he told me about some buildings downtown, and I was like, there should be a place where you can actually learn about like the real world industry stuff. Like not, you can go work at Bob's Painter and be a designer. It's like there's so many other layers and things that you could be doing outside of that. You don't have to be like a graphic designer for an agency. You could be a production manager. You could be it's just so many different levels that I didn't know about even when I was trying to come in. And I always wanted to figure out, how could you build this central location where the kids in the area can come and sign up and learn about TV production design, bring in people from Nike, Adidas, bring in people from Tesla or NASA or, the Honda corporate, not people from the car dealership, but the people who actually work at the place, to come and speak to the kids and let them know about these different positions that are not advertised to the average person. Because a lot of people thinking that they want to work in the car industry, but you only get introduced to the dealership part of things, not introduced to the special projects. It's a fashion department in McLaren that actually does fashion collaborations with artists. But you wouldn't know that, you wouldn't know that. You would just think, if you work at McLaren, then you fix cars or you sell cars or you're a mechanic or engineer. It's like, no, they have marketing. They have different, Lexus has it, Mercedes has it. I worked on a project, I guess I could say it. I worked on a project with the ASAP Rocky and Mercedes-Benz a couple of years ago, and it was a fashion project. It wasn't a car. We actually built a custom car, but also he had a whole fashion line to go with that and with the car for his album release. And I was like, wow, I didn't know this was possible. But these are different, obscure things that kids would be interested in, even if they don't even know. You just introduce them to those different things. So I think having some kind of place or building or some kind of something where you can come and learn about the industries that exist and the things that the kids are actually interested in. And you don't have to force them to learn things because a lot of kids, when they contact me, they want to do creative stuff. They don't want to do a lot of the working at, nothing wrong with working at the shipyard and stuff like that. They have other aspirations that they always bring that up though, but they always want to do more creative stuff in the field. And I just feel like it should be a place where you can go to learn these things and go to meet these people. And it should be some kind of budget to fly these people in, because I have a network of a lot of different individuals that work in a lot of different places. So it would be dope to just have a place where the kids can come and get the information, because there's so much technology out there that's happening right now. I see all these YouTubers making money all the time, and we don't make money because we don't understand the creator economy, and it's not taught to us at all. And when I'm working at these agencies with these white kids, they're making millions of dollars a week. They're doing ridiculous things like eating carrots out of trash cans, just stupid stuff. And then you see their portfolios go up millions of dollars. And then when you look at the rosters, no black kids, just all white kids, just making millions of dollars every week. And it's just like, man, I wish we knew we had more information or we were exposed to more of the stuff. And it's just so many different ways that we can make money, but we literally don't have or get access to resources and stuff, that we just don't have the place to go, the place to be, or the money or the infrastructure. And I think it should be something. It should be a school, it should be a place, it should be something. I mean, you look at all those buildings downtown Portsmouth, it's like, man, you could take 3 of those and have a performance art center and have you could probably have 3 things, and not TCC. I went to TCC art school, and they didn't really teach me how to be competitive in the field. It just and then it was borderline biased to things that I was trying to do. Oh, you want to work in this project? Oh, I think you should do something more related to rap. It's like, I don't want to be a rapper. Like, why would I do this? Like, this makes no sense. Like, why are you trying to make me do some rap stuff when I'm not trying to do that? So I feel like, I know it's a long rant, but I just feel like there should be a place, because they got all of these places that ain't nobody using. There need to be some money allocated to these places so we can introduce the kids to the things that they really want to do. And that's just something that I've really been interested in.
And meet the kids where they are now. And the kids are into technology now. And they just need to know how to use the technology properly. And it would definitely generate a lot of interest among the young people in the area and give them something to look forward to.
Yeah, I like how you talked about how the guy really tried to stereotype you into following that rap thing, because that's the way you should be, and so that yeah, he's a person of color, so he's got to do rap, and it's got to be the dirtiest rap out there or whatever. It's interesting that you said that. But you know what? There was another key word that you talked about, copying. You use the word copy. I think that another way I would try to phrase it is, as you looking at other people's work, that you reimagined and not copied, and you or replicate it and then reimagine it and then made it your own. And I think that's the another way to rephrase things that you're teaching others to do.
Yeah, it's a book, Still Like an Artist. That's what I should have said. Still Like an Artist is a good book. It teaches you how to reimagine things that already exist. Because everything is a template, right? 2 + 2 is gonna be 4 in different ways, right? So however you can reimagine the end goal, I think that's important. And like you said, just that whole experience of them telling me like, oh, you need to do rap, or like, I was painting a picture of Marilyn Monroe, and they're like, oh, well, you don't need to paint her, you need to do Jay-Z. You need to do Jay-Z. You need to do that. You need to paint Jay-Z. It's like, what? Why I can't paint this picture that I think that I want to paint? Why I gotta do Jay-Z? Like, you don't need that type of stuff. You don't need that type of stuff being told to you if you're trying to be successful, if you got a dream, or if you got aspirations to be. You don't need that extra commentary. Like, you don't need that. Like, you don't need to be getting steered in the wrong direction because you got a different perspective of things that you see. I just, that rubbed me the wrong way with TCC. I didn't really believe in it after that. But yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I think this might not be the TCC all in its encompassing the whole organization, but you do have some instructors or professors that don't know better,
Right.
and they're stuck in the old school, and there is a taint of, you hate to say, the racism in there, because this set of people should be doing this, and this set of folks or ethnic group should be doing more expansive stuff, and we'll let them do this. And
Right.
so, which is a shame, but that's reality of life.
Yep.
Michael, have you written up a plan for the program that you see in the future, possibly with these buildings in Portsmouth, in which we can engage these young people?
Me and a friend of mine, Douglas Smallwood, we actually created a technology company called Waffle. We went and got it trademarked, and we went out and actually went out to raise. We went to raise $2 million to start developing technology that we could use to start creating opportunities for just different individuals in the technology and sports space, and that was something that we actually started mapping out, is how we could create this center where we could provide all of these resources. And we were met with some friction from some people. Why you guys want to build this, or what makes you guys think that you haven't been working in tech space for this long. And we just trucked along. It took a couple companies from out of town, the Chinese companies and other companies, to be interested in what we had going on. And so recently we just started restructuring that to figure out how we could do it, how we could start from square one. Because I think what we came to realize was, a lot of us in our community, we don't have the resources and the funds to get, and I hate to say, like my man just mentioned about the racism, but we would run into that. We would run into rich Black people that would say, why don't you guys go get some white people to do it? And it's like, these are like some of the richest Black people on the planet saying these things. And it was very interesting to get those type of responses from these people. And I didn't really, we didn't take it to heart, and then we just know, that's just the way it is sometimes. So really focusing our energy back into mapping out how we can create, a place or places where we can implement some of these things. And then also, I think having a tech company or some big entity will bring a lot of resources to the city. Just being a company from the city, like I think it would bring a lot of opportunities. So we started mapping out different ways that we could go about raising more money. And because we've been out in the field, and we've been out to Silicon Valley and talked to these people, and we know what it takes. It's just having a little more support, and not even financially, just support, just people willing to connect us with other people. A lot of people are I don't know what it is about connecting people with other people. Like, I don't know what that is, but I think being able to connect with more people in the city or positions to make things happen, I think that's important. I think a lot of people get scared away with the financial part, but you don't have to worry about that. Just make the connection to the people in the position so we can pitch what we got to pitch, like, and not so much worry about, like, where you go get the money from. The money is around everywhere, everybody, you could get it. But the people who make the difference is the people that we need to talk to. Not so much, people get so paranoid about the money. You can get money. The money's everywhere.
Yeah, it's access to capital, basically, and it's big business, and access to capital is a make or break you in a company.
Yeah.
Yeah, and one of the main things, Michael, that we try to do here on Portsmouth Coffee Talk is spread the information, share information. And us, and we get kind of political sometimes, and all the things you just mentioned are some of the things that we should bring to the city of Portsmouth, because we get a lot of, everything is politicized, and we get a lot of people talking about, well, we need to do the rec centers, and that's good, but not everybody, like we always mention, is going basketball and things like that. We got a lot of creative young folks out there, and we need to, and they talked about outside of the box, and I don't think going into your kind of field is outside of the box. It's reality, because we have a lot of youth out there that are talented in that field, and we just need to get that information out to our policymakers to expand their horizons of what we need to be doing, especially with this stimulus, not stimulus, but this money coming in, and they trying to figure out who to give it to and where to spend it. It's people like you that have the track record, that have been there and building a track record, and that's why Leah asked you about the plan. Sometimes you have to show people something in order for them to really be convinced. But at least in Coffee Talk, they can get that information, or get the initial information about another way we can approach. And my whole thing is approaching how we can save these youth, because I see a lot of these youths out there pointing the guns and shooting, but they that same finger and use the talent that's probably inside of them to be a graphic designer or artist or something like that, but they haven't been exposed to it, or given that opportunity. So we'll be looking forward to whatever you have to bring to the table here in the city of Portsmouth. We've been trying to, and we're going to try to put something together, hopefully, because we've talked to other students that come through the system that want to come back and give. These are not people we begging. We have to go beg to come back. These are people that want to come back.
Exactly.
And I don't think as a city that we're taking advantage of the people that come through our system and then go on to be successful, But we appreciate what you've done and what you plan on doing so far. I guess this is a show of commentaries, but it's sparked by by you being a guest and what you're giving to us today. So
yeah, I appreciate y'all just letting me get on and vent and say what I got to say, and continue to push the message of helping people from the area, because it's like I was one of the kids back in the day, and now I've been able to go to the other side and see how much opportunity is out there, and it really don't make sense why everybody shouldn't be doing different things, so it should be something where we can introduce the youth to these different industries and these different people around the area. You see, we got the festival, and Pharrell, I think he posted something the other day about Norfolk having this big them tearing down I think the mall, and putting like a
amphitheater and all he's talking about.
Yeah.
So it's like when you see that type of stuff, and the potential, it's like, man, in Portsmouth, we could do that. We could have something like that. We could have somebody just opened a store downtown Portsmouth, a clothing store or something like that, and they got a grant for mental health or something. I'm like, oh man, that's interesting. I didn't know that was even a thing, but it could be more. Like you said, it could be more opportunities like that to put things that the youth are interested in front of them, and bring in the people who live on Earth, who do the things that they're interested in.
Yeah, a lot of people are willing to come in and help. You have those people, like you mentioned earlier, that they got theirs and they don't, see the need or sense in giving back, and although they came from the same place that some of the people come, but it's many more out there that are willing to do that, to finance, and sometimes it's just a matter of asking, not feeling that they're out of reach or they're unapproachable. It's just asking. They get asked all the time and they give all the time, and it helps them on the long end too, tax wise. But a lot of them is doing it from their heart. So we just have to change our mentality and make sure our leadership is prioritizing what's important rather than dealing with personalities like we're dealing with today.
Yep.
Yeah, and I think that it'd be incumbent upon us as Portsmouth Coffee Talk to but get Michael to talk to those who have the power of influence. Because I think the ideas that he has are great ideas. And like you said, James, all of our children don't want to be basketball players or football players. And we have to provide that avenue for them to work up their thoughts and their ideas and in a comfortable place in order to do it, and meeting the right individuals who would project them to where they need to be. I'm looking on Facebook now, the individuals who would like for me to share their information of their youth with Michael. And Michael can help to lead them in the directions in which they need to go. But Michael, I'm surely going to do all on my end that's possible, that we can meet up with some of the right people and you can share with them your dreams, your goals, and your visions. And prayerfully, we'll be able to bring something to Portsmouth that would generate an interest for these young people in order to get them off the streets, keep them out of the gangs, but give them something to do that they will feel honored by in the end. So I'm just so thankful to Michael. And not only, like I said, the fact that he's doing well himself, but he's willing to come back and to give back to the community. And it's just a matter of us trying to work together to find that avenue for him to be able to come back and do those things that would be beneficial to the youth in the city of Portsmouth.
Well, you know, Leah hit it right on the top of the nail when he's talking about not all the kids want to be basketball players or football players, because the basketball, they draft, have 2 rounds of drafts, says 56 kids nationwide. And so your chances of getting a basketball contract each year is probably 0.00005.
If it's that.
Slim and none. And there are going to be some to get there, you know, those 28 people, but you have a better chance of putting the work in, going to college, trade school, or following your route of doing both of those and making a great living than it is pursuing that athletic route. Because in the other piece of that, you're only one knee injury away from unemployment for the rest of your life. Short of getting the big contract.
Right. There's so many different other, like I didn't go play college basketball, but or college football, but I got, you know, championship rings and stuff from USC, but it's because there's different avenues in sports. There's sports marketing. You got creative, you got field day, you got game day experience. You could be a liaison between Nike and the university. It's just so many different areas, and them people are paid good. They got nice houses, cars, and their family's good and all of that. And they all they do is use their brain. You know, they use their mouth. They talk. They you know, they connect the dots. And that and when I got to see that, I was like, oh wow, I didn't know that this was a whole entire thing. You know, you don't have to be on the field. You don't have to be on the court to do that. There's just a lot of different other opportunities that can lead you to the pros. You can work for an NBA team or a front office, or, you know, like, there's just so many different things. You could be a vendor. You could be a vendor for Coca-Cola that works in collaboration with the NBA, or, you know, whatever. There's so many in-between jobs that people don't know about. I call it the invisible industry. This is all of these jobs that you don't know about that people do, that people are literally getting every day.
Yeah.
And our kids are not getting the exposure. They don't know about these things.
Right.
Yeah, just like one example, somebody wanted to be a sports agent. And if that opportunity didn't come, they just gave up on it. But just like you mentioned, it's a whole lot of different fields around that sports agency field that you can do other than being directly a sports agent. And, you know, they could have just dropped right into another one of those avenues. So it's all about the information we give, and
Exactly.
coming down to the time we in, this. But Michael, we really appreciate it, especially if you're not feeling well. But we know I can feel your passion, even though you're not feeling well. As you talked about it, your voice got stronger and stronger. So we didn't, even though we didn't see you, your voice was more powerful as you went along, because your passion is strong about what you're talking about and what you're doing in life. And we really appreciate you getting up early on the West Coast for one thing, and sticking it out with us not feeling well. And we certainly hope you continue to recover and feel better so you can keep on doing your thing.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I just like just having these type of conversations. I think me and Master P, one thing he always tell me is just, people of color, we don't talk to each other enough, because it seems like whether you older or younger, or we don't got the same, it doesn't matter. We just need to communicate and just talk about stuff and talk about what's going on and talk about how we can help each other and talk about community and because you never know what could be said or what could be sparked to create an opportunity that could change somebody's life. So this is super important to me. So I appreciate it.
Yeah, one of the first guests we had on this format was a young lady who's a graphic artist from the area. And, she shared a lot of good information. And what was her main thing? She did the picture of
Did the one for Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. She did the cover for Ma Rainey's Black Bottom.
Yeah, she did that. Yeah.
Oh man.
She's still right here in Virginia. So doing her thing and reaching people, like you say, once you build that resume, you don't have to audition, just like actors. You don't have to audition anymore. They call on you for certain parts. So they call on you to do certain projects. So.
And Michael, do you remember Donnell Johnson, the principal?
I think so.
That is his granddaughter. She's a graphic artist in the Northern Virginia area. And she's done some interesting pieces also for some of the TV shows as well.
I got to check it out.
I'll send you her information, okay?
Mm-hmm.
But Michael, I tell you, you know what? When I saw Michael on, what's that news show?
Hampton Roads.
Hampton Roads. I hadn't talked to Michael in a while, and I reached out to Michael and I said, oh my goodness, it's been so long since I've talked to him, and he's doing such amazing things. And I was just so pleased that Michael got right back with me when I reached out to him. So Michael, I just thank you for everything that you're doing. And Michael, I am going to get you a copy of that 100-year pin that you designed for the IC Norcom 100th year reunion.
Please.
I just love you so much. I've loved you for so long. And I'm just so happy to see all the great things that are taking place in your life. And I am truly looking forward to working with you further to further the dream of getting some things going here in the city of Portsmouth. Thank you so very much, Michael.
Thank you. I love you too. I love you too.
Right, because we want to keep the conversation going. Just like you said, we need to talk to each other, and hopefully you had the chance to expand a little bit more as far as discussion on our show, and give you an opportunity to really talk about what needs to be done and talk about yourself, your success story. We appreciate that.
And one last thing before you go, Slim, you said there was something that you were trying to do at Norcom High School. Could you just share that briefly with us? That you've spoken to the principal about? Michael?
Oh, I thought you said something. Yeah, I talked to Dr. Foster about creating a week, fashion, art, cybersecurity and technology. A friend of mine, Marquel Sykes, he's he works in cybersecurity, and we were talking outside of Norcom during the Hampton Roads show interview, and we talked about having a week, like a STEM week, but for different industries, and those specific industries, and having kids come and go to these different workshops for a week. Somehow we could set up that in the city where, I don't know where or how, but like introduce some of the things that we talked about today in that week, just to give kids a glimpse into the different things that they could do outside of you know, what's been told or what's been taught or what's been, because I saw Norcom has the cybersecurity now. They got a barbering,
Yes.
and they have a lot of different things. So just creating that opportunity, whether it be during homecoming or whether it be a bigger event. I think it'd be important to have something like that, at least once or twice a year, to get kids in the space and introduce them to people who work in these different areas.
Yes, and we also have the colonel's brother is a retired engineer from NASA, Langley, and this is what he does in his retirement, even when he was working, recruiting Black students, African American students, to go into the field of engineering. You know, it's just not enough of there. And the opportunities there are wide open. I think one time he was on the show, he said is when he went into it, it was really like this. It's kind of closing now, but it's not closing with enough of us involved in it. So yeah, so let us know about putting that week together, and we can bring on Michael Chapman, who is retired engineer from NASA, and all the other different fields that need to be exposed to our youth. And all the basketball, football players can come on another week.
Yeah, because one, you're talking about the minorities in STEM education is less than 5%.
Wow.
Which is, yeah, we got by numbers, it's just downright ridiculous. So we need more STEM, and so that is a future that we need to start looking at.
Oh, definitely. That's important.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, again, thank you, Michael. We appreciate it, and we'll let you get some rest. And we want to thank you for being here this morning on Portsmouth Coffee Talk. And Portsmouth Coffee Talk is here for our voice,
Our community,
And our future.
Thank you. Thank everybody for watching, and God bless. And remember to watch us later on our YouTube channel. Later on tonight, I guess, whenever we can download it to the YouTube channel, and come back and visit us next week. Take care.
Thank you. Appreciate
thank
you.
you very much, Michael, and feel better.
I will.
Okay, we'll be talking, okay?
Okay.
Thank you, Michael.